Hi, everybody. My name is Eugene Capon. This is Glitched, the podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Topher Welsh.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
All right.
I am Topher Welsh.
This is our first episode of 11 that we'll be doing over the 2017 year. We're very excited to be here and partnering up with Altspace to do it. Our first guest for our first episode is the very talented Ryan Smith.
Hi.
And he heads up the InVRse Studios.
InVRse Studios, yep.
Woo!
Nice.
Yeah,
Woo!
woo! Hey, man. So,
Hey.
just so everybody knows, there might be some inside back and forth between Ryan and myself because we are filming or we are recording from the same building, and then Topher is at home. So if you hear little kids running around, those belong to him. He has
They are
rugrats.
mine. Yes.
Those are Topher's.
100% belong to him.
Those are my kids. So sorry if you do hear the squealing and the screaming, but it just happens. It is what it is.
Or the background noise from Topher's outrageously hot wife, which we don't understand how that happened.
I don't know either, man. She fell
Well
for a
done.
Viking, and I don't understand how that happened. So
Like I want to make fun of him for it, but I just can't. That's like
What's to make fun of?
clearly you haven't met me in real life. That's the joke.
The joke's on her.
Oh crap! It's like $3 or $4, right?
It's $10. It was just on sale for $5 over the Christmas thing.
Yeah, I got that.
It's totally worth it.
Nice. We're actually doing something really weird with the Nest. We are going to raise the price when we put the multiplayer in because it's not going to be a $10 game anymore. It's going to be like a $20 game or something. Yeah, the $10 version is just normal single player, but we spent like 6 months on it, so we can't really do the same price anymore. But it's $10 now, so if you get it now, you won't have to pay more money.
So that's a huge incentive to go out and buy it right now. But so
it's weird. It is discounted right now in a way.
Yeah. So I've only played it where you're killing robots for whatever reason. Why robots over say people or zombies or mutants or something of that nature? Why robots?
Good question. The short answer is the 36-hour game jam. I had the guys that had the cover animations were robots that I had made. So zombies don't take cover. In fact, zombies are not very threatening to a sniper because you're almost always doing it from an elevated position. So the only real benefit of having a sniper rifle and fighting zombies is just nice.
Hey, if you have a question, can you guys raise your hands? Because if you guys raise your hand, then we can call on you, and then all the other rooms can hear you. So,
but yeah, so the key to a sniper game is like an elevated position, looking down and seeing the enemies. In these cases, the robots can shoot back at you, but zombies can't really do anything other than like they can't do anything.
Let's
go
ahead and ask your question, bro. Sam. What's up, bud?
Hey, how's it going?
So you got about 60 seconds to ask your question. Go ahead.
I think Steam actually already does a conversion. Yeah, so I only think it's $10 because that's the price I put on Steam, but it automatically does whatever conversion it does to other currencies. So I doubt it'll be $10 based on your exchange rate.
Hey, Jason, raise your hand with the hand emoji so I can call on you and everyone can hear. Here, I'm going to call on Eric here real quick. Hold on.
I think I'm getting low bit rate.
Eric, go for it, man.
You can't.
We have special privileges. Jason, go ahead.
Good question. Hackathons. Okay, first step, the most obvious step, move to Seattle.
Right.
Done. Piece of cake. I did it 3 years ago, and it's been like nonstop AR, VR development, and I
Where you
didn't
moved
even
from?
have a ton of experience. Las Vegas, of all places. Yeah. Into the Nest? Oh, Innocuous Home.
Hold on.
No.
All right. So Ryan, they
Hey,
have to.
he's got a
put their
question
hand
right here.
up before you
Okay.
can. Before you can
This
call
guy
him.
right here's got a question. I got him.
Ooh,
All right.
but hold on. The previous question about game development, that was my joke answer. It was moved to Seattle. The real answer is, I'd say find a person who loves games like you do, and then figure out which one of you is going to make the game do stuff, and which one of the is going to make the game look like stuff. And then the one of you is an artist, and one of you is a programmer, and that is a good division of labor, so that you don't have to learn 100% of it all by yourself. There's not a lot of crossover between artists and programmers, so you're going to want someone that wants to do stuff. The two of you will be able to bounce ideas back at each other. Two people can play test each other's ideas and make sure that you're not going down the wrong path. I know the guy that made Onward is just one dude, but I bet he has lots and lots of friends that helped him play test, that helped him work out a lot of those details.
Definitely.
So yeah, find someone cool. I have myself a Victor. I recommend getting yourself a Victor if you can find one. They are historically good at Unreal Engine. I actually have two Victors now. Both of them are Unreal experts.
I have
Yeah,
a
go ahead.
question. Can I ask a question real quick, Gene?
Yeah, go for it, man.
So are you guys gonna bring two-handed support to the game eventually?
You mean the two-handed support that's already in the game?
Wait.
Yes. There's an experimental tab that we don't really tell people about. If you open the menu and you go down to the experimental tab, we have the same kind of two-handed controls as a lot of other places. I personally hate it. So that's the only reason it's not the main way we hold the gun. But Victor really likes it, and so we kind of allow both different versions.
Yeah, see, I really like the two-handed. Like in Onward, I got one of these. Have you seen the ProTube VR stock?
I have not. Oh no! Wait, yeah, we make stocks like out of household materials like
Yeah,
MacGyver.
so like I was doing that too a little while ago. So like I made like this one that like you could like clip like a broom handle into. It didn't work, so I ended up actually buying this one from a guy in France, and it's called the ProTubeVR.com. We're not sponsored by them, no worries. It's just really cool. But you can stick the controllers in these cups. And I've been using it with just the one-handed support, but it's got the the rifle stock, so you can like stick it right in your shoulder. And man, it like you can knock out a level in like 30 seconds. I feel like it's awesome.
When we made the Nest in the 36-hour game jam, one of our team members created a stock that was made out of a 2x4 and like some cardboard and wrapped it with duct tape, and we could slot one of the controllers into it, so kind of like this.
Nice.
And so it gave you something to pull against your shoulder, it gave you something to hold with your other hand, and since then the game has sort of been a one-handed game because we always want to design around the idea that people are just going to maybe get these peripheral someday. And then some people contacted us, and that's how we got the VR15 rifle. So we have this $10,000 3D printed freaking rifle that you put the Vive controller in. Of course we do. We got the first one.
Oh my god, that thing is so cool looking.
It's at our Co-Motion lab. Just come by and pose with it if you want to.
I might have to do that actually.
Yeah,
I'm just across the water. So.
Topher, buddy, when you get a chance, come up to the Co-Motion Labs, either Ryan or I. So for those who don't know, I co-founded a company. Ryan co-founded a company. We actually share the same building. That's how we know each other.
Co-Motion, what?
And I'm
Co-Motion Labs.
My background in VR is I like playing games. So
games are cool.
But no, I actually work at Microsoft, but I run the After Effects Seattle user group in Seattle, and Eugene has actually talked at my group and stuff, and we got into some VR stuff, and I ended up buying a Vive, and it's just been like holy crap, and so it's kind of where
Seattle.
I'm at. Like
That's
I
the
want to
common
learn how to
thread.
dev, but I don't know how to code, so that's like the trade-off. I'm like, I could learn, but that's but whatever.
Hey, let's take a question from this guy who's been patient in the very front. Hold on.
You've been very polite.
Go for it, bro. That's me. No, actually, I work at Skype basically, and a product called Microsoft Teams. So I don't work on HoloLens, although I do know a lot of the guys that do work on HoloLens. So I know exactly who Leafy is. I don't watch him.
I know who that is. I actually know Billy the Fridge, who works a lot with him. Yeah. Yeah, like him, me, and MC Lars ended up getting drinks. Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell
probably
him
not going to do that.
that the short dude named Eric in our podcast said hit him up. Okay.
All right.
Nice.
Dude, if you do, I want to hear it.
Did you have a question a couple of minutes ago, Eugene?
Yeah. So I noticed pretty much all the games that you and your crew put out are done in Unreal. But why not Unity 3D? Is it just because of the, nobody likes the code, or is it because the graphics slightly look better? Like, what is it?
All of the above. In general, I've worked extensively in Unity before joining up with Victor. He kind of showed me the error of my ways and got me to love Unreal. I'd spent a little bit of time. I did a lot of motion capture, and we put stuff on the Unreal Marketplace before I started actually developing in it. It's a little trickier. Some of the parts of it are like older than Unity, and so it takes a little bit of getting used to. You have to do more research. But in general, if you are not a coder but you want to make games, I can't think of anything that would beat Blueprints. Blueprints is a special Unreal-only coding engine where you don't actually type code, you don't use parentheses and semicolons, you actually just drag and drop the things that you want from their code library.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, so you take their code library, you put it all together, you arrange it with these little pins that say first this happens, then this happens, then it asks for this, and then this happens. And so that's what I like about Unreal. I also like how it looks personally. It appeals to my aesthetic tastes. But Unity is great. If you have a coding background, Unity will do everything that you want it to do. If you don't have a coding background, you can only get Unity to do what other people have done. And so you can kind of take their code and try to modify it. But in Unreal, I think you have someone like me has more power in Unreal without having to become a full-on coder.
Nice.
Is my impression.
Panko, do you have a question? Can you raise your hand real quick so I can call on you so everyone can hear? There you go, buddy. Go for
it. C#.
What's the best? What? C# or C++? C#. C++ is Unreal, and C# is Unity, and I think C# is also like Source Engine. I don't know what Stingray or Lumberyard uses, but in general, if you want to learn to code, and it doesn't necessarily matter exactly what language. If you want to jump into a engine while coding, make sure you're choosing the coding language that the engine uses. Basically, Blueprints and C++ are kind of interchangeable. So whatever you create using the visual language I just mentioned can then translate into C++. But C# is what you use in Unity. So
right on.
Yeah.
I think Eric had a question here. You want to raise your hand again, bro? Raise your hand real quick.
Yeah, or else we won't be able to hear you on the track.
Go for it. Do not
used to.
A little bit when it first came out.
I work right next to Bungie.
I have lots of friends.
That's though.
I have friends who work on it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so what's your question? What's your question? That sounded more like a statement or like an order.
All right. So let's switch it up.
Yeah.
So like, what games are you playing? Like, besides the Nest, obviously, but what games are you playing lately that you're like super digging?
I try to do like small indie stuff when it comes out, but at the moment there's about 10 or 20 games that come out every week, so I can't really keep up.
No, right?
So the easy answer is the big ones that my friends always ping me to play. So Arizona Sunshine, where we can do the co-op stuff, Raw Data, where we can do co-op.
Yeah.
Lots of Lots of shooting things. I personally have a problem with Onward. It's not my style of shooter. So I'm more of like a Halo Destiny type shooter than a Milsim, Arma type.
Really?
Yeah.
Topher for the last month has been trying to get me to play Onward. It's
really cool.
All he talks about.
If it's your style, yeah, it's really cool if it's your style of game. It's for me, the times that I played Onward, I spent the 5 or 10 minutes of getting in, looking for combat, and then the half a second it took to get shot in the head and die, and without ever actually seeing people. So in the 3 or 4 games of Onward I played, I only got 1 confirmed kill, and it was a person who was on my team.
Yeah, it's definitely
So,
hard to like pick up Onward and like you got to get past like the dying and then waiting 6 minutes thing. Like it was worse when the game first came out and you had to wait 12 minutes. That was so terrible. Oh my God.
I did not understand those design decisions.
It really was.
And it was so hardcore, it made me, who's not a hardcore shooter of that type, kind of push away. But the people who really love that game love it because it's hardcore. So we just can't, we can't get along because it needs to be as hardcore as it is for its player base, but it's not a game for me. We're trying to kind of...
respawn mode.
Respawn mode? Respawn, yeah.
Mode.
Yes, standing around for, like you said, the 12 minutes as a gray ghost and with no controls was maybe the weirdest thing I've ever done in VR. I felt like I was doing something wrong because I couldn't believe that they would purposefully have you stand for 12 minutes without the ability to do anything and without being able to watch the action or respawn or so.
Okay. I feel like we're a little bit off subject. So the first game you guys, so the first game that you guys started producing was the zombie game. Which actually that was the first time I met you. Was during that zombie game, and I actually have a video of me like going. Lisa Wee got me in that. Super sweet. Anyway, and then you guys were doing The Nest, and you guys ended up doing a new game called Drums of War, right?
Yeah, we love the hackathons, and so a new hackathon came around less than a month ago. We had 36 hours, and so we made a drumming rhythm game. We finished it, and then that very week, 2 different drumming rhythm games got pushed to Steam. So we were like, oh, well, we missed the boat on that one. But the game itself was really fun to make. It was really fun to play. We made these really awesome like medieval drums that like vibrate when you hit them. We had a sound designer make some really cool drum sounds. And basically you're commanding a legion of archers. And so you've got 4 different drums. Each different drum sends archers from a different area to fire on Viking ships that are trying to raid your beaches. And so you hit the right drum.
Right up your alley.
It was really neat. Again, if 2 different drum games hadn't just come out like right after we did it, we were thinking to ourselves like, should we keep working on The Nest? Should we keep working on The Wake? Should we keep working on Natural 20? Should we keep working on the Drums of War? It's really hard to choose when you have this many projects.
That's not your first like rhythm game you guys were doing though. You guys did a what was it, like a Mad Max driving rhythm game at one point?
What?
Going to pull out all my hackathon greatest hits. Yes. I had a Vive controller that I wanted to strap to my keyboard and turn my keyboard into a guitar. And it worked, and you basically used the space bar was your strum, and then the 0, 1, period, and something else, or maybe numlock or whatever, was your actual chords, and so we turned it into a rhythm game. In this case, we made you the guy in the red pajamas who's riding on the Mad Max truck playing the double bass guitar, and there's like taiko drums coming from behind you, so it's like tukka-tukka-doo, and you're like boing, boing, and in this case, you're on a semi-truck that's plowing through a bunch of like spiky dune buggies, and as you blast them, you knock them off the road, and it was really cool, and we knew that Frank Miller would never give us the license, so we didn't even have to worry about it. We never worked on it again. But it was cool.
That's awesome.
Like, basically, the Rock Band for the Oculus hadn't come out yet, and we wanted it so badly that we made our own. So that's what you can do when you make VR stuff, is just like, oh, so-and-so hasn't made the game I want to play. Let's fucking make it.
Yeah, basically.
Like Man, I really want to just go back and play that now. Now that you just so in detail described what it was.
Yeah, it's like 10 feet from where you're standing right now, so we can play it after we're done here.
I want to come over.
You should.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely will.
Dude, we'll set up a VR playdate.
There we go.
Agreed.
There we go.
And
Yeah,
multiplayer nest testing, because we're actually going to do that this weekend.
yes.
Nice.
I definitely need, like, in the last week, just all these people have been like, hey, man, I really want to come to Commotion. I want to see what you guys are working on. I want to, play with games and see what everybody else is working on. And I keep going, God damn, dude. I really should just, put up a list and, like, every week a new person can come in and something. I think so. Yeah, we can get you coming in. I know Barnacle Nerdgasm was trying to get in here as well. I see a question.
The guest has a question. Go ahead, man. Hey, guest dude. Guest 2500 483. You got a question? Go for it. I'm pointing at you, bro. Okay, never mind. Panko. You go.
All right.
You go.
All
Guess
right.
not.
All right. Well, this.
Yeah. Oh, I never actually thought about that.
I agree with just about anything that does not have you standing as a disembodied ghost.
Yeah, right. Well, the interesting thing is that you might not realize if you only played Armor a couple times, you can actually reach down and if you can grab your radio on the ground, you can talk to your friends and tell them where the other people are, and you can tell them to come over and revive you too. That's why they let you stay up like that.
Okay. Yeah, I figured that it was because I was in revival mode, and so I was in limbo, halfway dead, and not able to walk.
It's
or
really
crawl.
annoying when you play with people who've never actually played, and then they don't realize that you can revive, or they don't realize that you can actually. Why are you sinking into the ground, Eugene?
I'm sorry I annoy you.
It's a new superpower. I'm phasing. Just phasing through stuff.
I wasn't saying you're annoying. I was saying it sucks because if they don't know that you can revive or things like that. But
I know.
I'm nerding out about that game. Sorry, my bad. We'll get back to other stuff. He's distracting me. He's just phasing.
Sorry. So I'm actually getting on my knees and stuff to make this happen. Yeah, it looks fun, right?
Yeah.
I totally forgot somebody else is actually in the room with me, and she's just making faces at me as I'm doing this.
Oh shit! I gotta check. Is there anyone in the room with me? Okay.
Hey Justin, raise your hand
Yeah,
one more time. Let me get your question, okay? What's this podcast about? It's about VR stuff. There you go. Go ahead and ask a question, Justin.
Hi, Justin.
Okay.
No
worries.
Okay.
It is a little bit.
So
Just-
what is
just
this?
go away.
What is
Go
this
away.
about? This is the Glitch Podcast where we talk about VR stuff while in VR.
While you have triplets talking to you.
Yeah. So fun fact, we were actually hoping to get this to be the first VR podcast in VR, but several other outlets had VR podcasts.
We don't talk about
in the
those.
last week or two.
We don't talk about those.
We had already filed and everything. We were late to the party, but
Or Eugene was so excited. He's like, dude, I just called Guinness World Records, and we're gonna be the first VR podcast in VR. And then the next day, there's hey, we're bringing this podcast to VR. We're like, oh god damn it, dude.
And they were 4:00 the next day after we registered.
It sucks so bad.
They were out of nowhere. So
That
they beat us
is
by several
unfortunate.
weeks. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm so glad I didn't pay for expedited, because Guinness World Records to apply for anything is super expensive.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
expedition is $1,000, and then if you want someone to come out and watch you do it, it's $10,000.
Larry's got a question here. Why don't you raise your hand one more time, Larry? Right, one more time so everyone can hear you. And there you go. Go for it. The other VR podcast?
They were actually here on Altspace.
Yeah, they were actually in Altspace. It was last week, I think, but it was I Will Watch Anything Once. So he's got an existing podcast, but he decided to bring it into VR just for an episode, I think.
Yeah.
So it's not a recurring thing, but
and then we were trying to we're taking a look at like the Woo Network, where Will Smith has a
I think it's
has a
Foo,
show coming
isn't it?
out.
Isn't it Foo Network?
Foo?
F-O-O?
Foo.
Foo Network?
Foo
Foo
Network.
show?
Yeah, Foo Show.
It's like the
Yeah.
Flu Network from Harry Potter, but with no L.
Different
Oh,
Will
nice.
Smith, the tested Will Smith.
The ginger Will Smith, not the black Will Smith.
Ginger,
Exactly.
yeah. So yeah, he has a preview episode on Steam. They go through Firewatch. Looks absolutely incredible. And then we're like, no, we need to get the show out before he gets it out in December. And then like other podcast happens.
Yeah, I mean,
late to the
happens.
bunch, which is fine.
so we know all about the woes of not being first.
And I'll pretend that's the question and actually talk about that for a bit. In virtual reality, there are so many firsts
Oh my God,
that
it is,
it's
right?
almost an addiction. Like being the first person to make, like we were the first ones to make a sniper rifle game when we made the Nest, and
Yes.
we were like, yes, we made something that no one else has made. We solved problems that no one else has solved. We've got a bunch of other things like, keyboards, locomotion. We were the first melee combat game when we made The Wake. Like, everyone was shooting everyone with all of the shooters. Oh, and whoops.
Where'd you go?
Don't pull the trigger when you're pretending to be shooting guns. So everyone had been making these shooter games, and nobody had said, "Wait, I would rather bludgeon that to death with with an object." And so we said, "I want to bludgeon something to death with an object." And so, we gave you a baseball bat. And we figured out how to make the physics work. We figured out how fast the baseball bat's going so that it cracks your skull only when you're swinging it at a certain speed. How to make the zombies stumble and fall down and then get back up and all of this fun stuff. So it's really, really fun being first. And in VR, like novelty, like the first person who makes a MOBA is going to be the person who said, "Look, I made a VR MOBA." The first person that makes VR Tetris is going to be saying, "Look, I made VR Tetris." You can actually kind of rip off okay, hey, I just remembered something. I made Zenblade, or helped make Zenblade, which when I was working on it was called Ninja Trainer VR.
Oh, nice.
Is a game I did with a different company. We don't really speak anymore, but it was the very, very first Ninja or fruit slicing game. It was almost a year before Fruit Ninja came out, and so it was like, hey, what if we throw fruit and we use a samurai sword to slice it? And it was great, and we immediately found out that of course this is great. It's virtual reality. Almost anything might be, translate really well into it. So
Nice.
yay, novelty.
I think Phil back here at the back had a question. Do you want to raise your hand again, bro, so I can call on you? No? Okay, never mind. Psych.
Okay.
Hey, Panko, if you got a question, use the hand emoji.
There we go.
buddy.
There we go.
There you go.
Answer
Go for
that
it.
question. What's the question?
Oh, you have no idea. We're already working on one.
Really?
We're already working on one. It's called Natural 20. You heard it here first. We have a game that I can officially say is based on everyone's favorite tabletop role-playing game. I just can't say what that game is.
Oh.
It's clearly Harmon Quest. That's clearly what it is.
Obviously.
I bet you it rhymes
Everyone.
with Dungeons and Dragons, so...
It may rhyme with that, yes. So yeah, we're taking all of our favorite tropes from tabletop role-playing games, computer role-playing games. We're putting them into a method that is enjoyable in VR. We're kind of doing a novel twist on it. We're going to be announcing some stuff at South by Southwest next month. So we'll have, by that point, we'll have a version everyone can see. We might actually do a demo for people to try.
Found it.
There's a lot I'd love to talk about, but it's kind of almost its own show because we've been doing that.
Panko, you
All
got
right, we need
Pa-
to see this
Pa-
guy.
Panko has a follow-up, I think.
Go
All
for
right,
it.
follow-up question. I want that to be a feature now.
In general, enabling everything that everyone wants to do in VR is a 20-year task. So what we really have to do is enable the. Well, there's lots of things we're gonna we're gonna put in.
Hey, Anko
In
wants
general,
features.
storytelling.
Anko wants features,
Yes.
so he wants features.
Features.
He gets features, right?
Okay. But no one else's features get on the list.
There should be like just a Patreon where people can like pay you to put specific things in. That way it gets funded, right?
That's not a terrible idea, because
No.
I mean, when you're doing VR development, if I create a glass, like I put a glass on the table there, you want to be able to reach out and pick up the glass, and then you also want to be able to reach up and maybe smash the glass, and then you also want to maybe reach out and drink from the glass, and then you want to be able to put ping pong balls into the glass and then pour the ping pong balls out, and that's one of the things about virtual reality. Until we kind of simulate everything about the real world, it takes a long time to make every individual thing. So making you be able to cut off the heads of your enemy, or we'll say enemies, but in this case it's probably friends, would definitely be a project, and I don't know how many people would specifically want to use that, but it has merit.
I was trying to take your head off.
First to decap. I have decapitated so many zombies, people. You don't even understand. I have just the perfect boop on the top of the head, boop on the top of the head.
To whip 'em?
Yeah. It's free on Steam right now.
Really?
It's called The Wake, and you just go to the Wake page and hit the demo button. We kind of phoned in the demo so we could get it out on Halloween real quick. So it only has maybe 5 minutes worth of gameplay in it. I think we have 8 different weapons in our version, but we only put 2 or 3 weapons into the demo because we want to kind of hold some stuff back for the full version. But I will say that right now, if you want to do the Wake, you really want a good graphics card, because we used the brand new forward renderer that came out with the new version of Unreal, and it has beautiful anti-aliasing, so it's one of the prettiest games you'll see. Nice. But it also is you kind of need a new graphics card to be able to do it. 1080 works perfect. We all have 1080s, and it works great. I think the 980 Ti works, 980 normal, and it doesn't quite work. So that's the line we rode with that the anti-aliasing.
I got a 1060, so I'm good.
Oculus works great.
So if you want to ask a question, you got to put your hand up, just like before, or else it won't pick up on the recording. There we go, right here.
Justin, go ahead, man.
That technology doesn't really exist yet. I don't think it works for mobile yet, because it has to plug in through USB.
No. Leap Motion. I believe Leap Motion works for this.
And through USB?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, then use that.
So have you guys seen Pocket Strafe yet?
No.
Nope.
What is that?
Oh, wait, yes. The locomotion system.
Yeah, so Pocket Strafe. Has anybody seen Pocket Strafe yet, you guys? It's freaking sweet. So you have your phone, and you download this app. It's like $3. And what you do is you orient your phone. You put a screen facing your body. You put it in your pocket. And it reads the locomotion up and down. And so, it works experimentally.
And then you do this.
So, you run up and down and stuff, and you're running around. But, it maps the up and down to a W key, or, the forward on the thumb pad on the Vive. So, say you're playing, Arizona Sunshine or something. If you're doing a run motion, it'll actually make you run forward wherever your controller is pointing, and you don't actually have to use, the thumb pad control. It's pretty sweet.
So I'll just pretend that is a question, because we made our own locomotion system, and it's like a simplified version of that. We're actually going to start we made it 8 months ago, and then we put it on a shelf, and now we're going to dust it off real quick and make a demo out of it, possibly open source it and give it for free. And I will just reveal to everyone here, we want to call it inverse motion, but really it should be called human joystick, and it is as simple as you take a step forward and your character moves forward, you take a step back and your character stops, you take a step backward and your character moves backward, you take a step towards the center and your character stops. So basically is hands-free locomotion. And we came up with it a long time ago, and we thought someone else would make it by now. So the idea of downloading an app, putting it in your pocket, and then jumping up and down for movement doesn't make as much sense to me as just saying like, oh, I want to go that way. Yoing. So the first part of that was me stepping in real life, and then the second part was me holding the thumbstick. So
okay, that makes sense.
So how does that battle like VR sickness then?
That's the trick.
Yeah.
VR sickness comes because your inner ear fluid does not feel like you're moving when your eyes say you are moving. And what happens with our system that also sort of happens when you're bouncing up and down, it does disturb your inner ear fluid, which makes you more likely to feel like you're moving. In our case, we just say, oh, I'm going to start moving that way, and as I'm moving that way, my brain has already done the calculation that says, oh, he was moving in that direction, and now he's still moving in that direction. So it's kind of a constant velocity situation, and it doesn't completely eliminate motion sickness, but I've found that it lowers it versus things like just normal standing still and holding. I think maybe we can almost do a poll here. It is. I think I have noticed that it is more likely to get motion sick when you're sitting down than when you're standing up. So the Vive.
I don't like the sit down ones at all.
Yeah, sitting down, WASDing through levels.
What?
Both?
We're taking questions and we're talking. It is a podcast, so.
Yeah. So in general,
it's a podcast, guys. It's a podcast.
Well, it's not on a pod. It could be.
All right.
An AltSpace cast? I don't know.
Yeah. So
that wasn't distracting at all, so let's keep talking.
Yeah. Let's keep talking.
Sorry.
Is there a question? I don't want to talk about my locomotion system anymore.
Okay, there's a
Go for
question.
it,
Let's
man.
take this question.
Panko, go for it.
Okay. Were you sitting down or were you standing up? Okay, it's probably recommended. I think that a drift could probably make you fall over if you were trying to do it standing. But all I was saying is that in general, I think that the being standing, having a little bit of motion in your head it's just enough to maybe make your body okay with forced locomotion. Whereas when you're in a chair and you're not moving at all, then forced locomotion is much more likely to make you sick. Like, I don't get sick when I'm walking around, but I can get car sick when I'm in a car.
Totally.
And that car is actually moving. So but I think it's really just a matter of sitting down and like being stuck with some, unnatural motion.
Nice.
Is my theory, because I wish I was a scientist.
Right. That's interesting, though. Like, I never actually thought about the whole, like, why you get like motion sickness, and it does actually make sense. If you start out moving, it'll kind of like it'll trick your brain into thinking, oh yeah, I'm totally still moving.
Yeah. The further you'll be diving into VR, and I know Topher, you're going to be doing a lot of that down the line. The more you'll come across this, and you'll have to be like, oh crap, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let me take some time, just dive into the information, and we should probably do this mechanic over this mechanic because we don't want people to feel sick. Anyway, we got a question. Topher.
Right.
Does anyone else hear a chipmunk?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna. No, go for it, man.
No, that's you, bud.
Right? Did you have a virtual boy when you were a kid? Because I did, and this is so much better.
I did also have a Virtual Boy, and it was fun for about 15 minutes.
Right. So,
Awesome.
let's see.
We got
one more
another
question. Nate here.
So yeah, that's
Nate, go for it.
kind of good lead into my question. So where do you think it's going? Like, what's your vision that kind of pushes you forward all the kind of technical limitations of VR gaming as they currently are?
Good question, Nate. This is something that we think about all the time because, you know, the VR market has kind of gone up and now it's a little bit slow while everyone waits for Fallout 4 to come to VR. And
Right.
I think, you know, we're waiting for the next raw data, waiting for Doom, waiting for the honestly the AAA games that we like to be made into VR games. You know, I'm a fan of some indie titles, but, you know, there's a lot of overlap and similarities in lots of indie games. But right now, most of the VR is made by indies, and I, of course, want the big companies to get in. And they're not going to get in until a couple million people own these things. Right. So there's this, it's probably going to be a tiny bit slower than we want. And then the AAA games take 5 years to make and like $100 million. So the games we really, really want to play in VR aren't even going to come out for 5 years. The thing is that 5 years from now, we're going to have almost like insanely light headsets. They're going to be much higher resolution. They're going to be wireless. They're going to have, you know, different options for controls. You know, the Vive knuckle controllers are amazing. The ones they showed at Dev Days are beautiful.
They're so cool looking.
I was at Valve today and got to play with them again. So
I thought you weren't going to talk about that today.
I can't tell you anything else about Valve, but I did get to get my hands on the knuckles again, and I was just like, yes, these are the controllers that Gotham needs. So the answer to like where is VR going to go? It's as long as it keeps going at the current rate, like a couple of years from now, there will definitely be millions of people. There will definitely be lots of games. There will definitely be, you can do all of the normal things that you do in the real world or on a computer inside of VR. I'm trying to work towards that goal, and I think everyone that wants to get into VR should definitely try to move it forward rather than trying to make a quick buck. Do not get into VR to make a quick buck. There's not a lot of bucks to be made yet. It's hard. Keeping our company afloat off of, you know, just the Nest so far has been tricky. So, you know, you need outside investment or you need to eat a lot of ramen. But
or both. Or both.
or freaking both.
Okay, Topher, same question that Nate had. Go. Where do you think this is all going to go?
Yeah. Going. Well, I mean, we have the PSVR that just came out, and there's a ton of, like, it seems AAA games for that, which is kind of blowing my mind. Like, the Resident Evil, there's, like, I looked on Twitch the other day, there's, like, 25,000 people playing it. It was insane. And, like, I don't know, I really want big games to get here, too, because, like, one, they look amazing. Two, they're going to be a lot longer, a lot more playability, I think. But a thing that I'm really excited for, seeing as I see the HoloLens almost every single day at my office, I really want the HoloLens to get in to, like, the whole gaming area and, like, maybe, like, the HoloLens and, like, somehow, like, we get, like, really intense games there, too. But, you know, I played with the HoloLens a couple times, and it's, like, there's, like, a 4-inch window view screen that you can, it's not that great
do an
right now,
icon
honestly.
if you saw the Portal HoloLens video that came out yesterday.
Oh, I didn't see
like,
that.
Emote if you saw it.
It is so good.
They have a
insane.
portal gun attached to it, and you put a portal on the ceiling, you put a portal on the floor, and then you grab a weighted companion cube, and you drop it into the floor, and it drops down, and it falls onto real-world geometry. Wow. So I don't know how you do level building for it, but you could make the entire world into hollow cube, or, you know, weighted companion cubes.
No,
Awesome.
I mean,
Yeah, who wouldn't play that?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna answer the same question now.
You go.
So a lot, So a lot of what I've been talking about, like going out into the community, giving talks on, is actually social VR, much like this. And in the book I've been writing for the last couple of months, and I just got a working copy done, so I'm super happy. It just has to get edited and all that good stuff. Yeah, raise the roof. So basically what it's called VR and Cat Gifts, and it talks about the rise of the VR social media influencer, much the same way that we ended up getting video influencers out of YouTube or Twitter personalities or bloggers who got really famous when, well, Blogger came out, right? So we start having all these different social medias, all of these social media companies that are like popping up on the scene, and VR, because it's so new, there's so much room for people to get in. And like you said, Ryan, earlier, you know, you can be the first in like pretty much anything right now.
There's so many firsts.
Yeah, there's so many firsts right now. So like with us.
But a year from now, there will be less firsts.
Definitely.
Then you're just going to have to make things that are good instead of first.
Yeah, so
that's the hard part. That's the really hard part.
Yeah.
So when I was researching this, Sam over at Altspace set up a meeting with me. We got to talking, and like 2 months later, we ended up with the Glitched podcast, which is pretty fantastic. And we're starting to like make that mark in ourselves, and this is going to be great for the next year. This is our lives. It's so cool. Anyway, I saw a question. Question over here.
Go for it, man. I think this is another medium for you to get a podcast out. Definitely. I think it's a very effective medium. I think we're always going to listen to podcasts on audio too. We're always going to watch YouTube videos of our podcasts. But I mean, being able to come out here and like hang out, raise your hand, ask questions to a person, that's something you just can't do with podcasts right now. And honestly, that's why Eugene came to me. He's like, dude, we should do this podcast. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? This is amazing. Yes, let's do this. No one's doing this. And I could see this being like, I mean, you guys have seen how big Reggie Watts has gotten on just Altspace. It's just like, it's a huge medium that no one's exploited yet. And I'm like super stoked to see how it goes.
Yeah. All right. One more. Couple of Topher, can you
Let's get
bring him in?
Sauce Dog here. Sauce Dog, go for it.
Sauce Dog.
Can you hear him? Sauce
Only every other
I
word.
can barely hear you, dude. Can you speak much slower, or we're gonna have to go to someone else?
Your bit rate is low.
Yeah, sorry, man. We're gonna have to like skip your question. Did anybody else have a question? Wait, I saw BRPM.
The
Yeah.
BRPM.
Yeah.
Go for it, man. Go for it. You're not talking. Oh wait, go for it now. Now you can talk. Go for it. So he's a robot.
It's the chipmunk bug. No, I had the chipmunk bug too one time when I first tried Altspace.
Is that
Sorry,
a real
man.
thing? Is that like a real phenomenon?
You can, if you restart Altspace and like reset up your microphone, it fixes it.
Does anyone else have a question?
Yeah.
If you have a question, raise your hand.
So
guys.
I'll go ahead and talk a tiny bit about like a cross between sort of the last two questions. I think that augmented reality glasses or mixed reality glasses are going to be coming this year. I think they'll be super awesome by next year. There's probably going to be like 4 different options. So in general, like the idea of listening to podcasts on the bus or something, we could potentially put our augmented or our mixed reality glasses on, listen to a podcast like this, and see the people just like this, except they'll be sitting in the bus with us, or there'll be little miniature vignettes, and we'll sort of see the whole room out in front of us, and we'll look down into it and hear people talking. I think that, shrinking people down or shrinking entire rooms down is a really interesting way to like overhear a group of people, and then like making the room big so that you're on like sitting on one person's shoulder, and then you're talking to them directly. Those are different methods that we can have for bringing the audio communication and the visual communication and doing really fun things with it.
I kind of want that to be a feature in Altspace now, where I can just like shrink down and sit on your shoulder. I think that would be fantastic. Yeah. Just do the whole show, and then we don't even have to call it glitch anymore. Just call it sitting on the shoulders of giants.
There you go.
I see what you did there. See what you did there.
Oh, yeah.
Tango, did you have a question, man? Go for it. I think we're past that, honestly. I think we're past that because the Vive and the Oculus and now the Google Pixel with Daydream, like, they've all just taken off. And it's bigger than Google Glass ever was. There's more apps.
Yeah, we used to be afraid Mr. HoloLens over here, I'm sure his company is hoping that the $3,000 HoloLens will get lowered in price, it'll get more content, it'll get a bigger field of view, and then it'll be, out in time to be a huge competitor against Magic Leap and Meta and a couple of the other ones. So there's tons of individual technologies which may or may not succeed.
Yeah.
They're like the Vive is amazing, but HTC as a phone company has financial problems because no one's buying their phones anymore. So that may change the direction. Like Oculus had a bad week last week.
Oh, yeah.
They lost. Yeah, they lost a $500 million lawsuit, and they put out a tracking update that made a whole lot of people say, like, screw this tracking, it works worse than before the update. So, some of these individual companies are doing really well, others are going to have problems, but the technology as a whole, the VR, the mixed reality, the augmented reality, like, those are definitely the way everything's going. It's just, there's little hiccups here and there. And trust me, there's so many billions of dollars, and that these companies are going to make you buy them no matter what. You're not going to want to buy the iPhone version that's in glasses form, but then when they discontinue the iPhone and say you're getting glasses now, you're going to be like, okay, fuck it, I'll get the glasses.
Yeah. I think virtual reality is definitely here to stay, but whatever prevails is going to be, it's up to the market, I guess.
We've gone past the point of no return is essentially what the whole community believes. And honestly, this is like the third wave of VR. So we've had multiple tries. This is the one that's actually sticking, and we can only go on from here. So we have time for 2 more questions, then we gotta wrap up this thing.
VRPM still Chipmunk.
Darn.
Sorry.
Chipmunk.
Sorry, dude.
Chipmunk.
Sorry, VRPM. You got an audio glitch.
Alex
I apologize.
has a question here. Alex?
Yep.
Oh, the Vive tracker, yeah.
Teehee. I was at CES as a partner when they unveiled it because the Nest, as one of the VR-15 rifle, had one of the trackers attached to it. So we actually got to go be in the room for the announcement. I got to see a fire hose with a thing attached to it. I got to see a bunch of different guns. Someone had a camera made out of plexiglass. There were just, look at the CES coverage because there was amazing things. It's going to be great. Like that ability to track just about anything. You can put it on suits and have your shoulders tracked. We just goofed off the other day with putting them on shoes, so that you could have your feet tracked and everything. We have a huge idea for tracking something else that our lawyers will kill me if I talk about publicly. But yeah, trust me, when we actually get this thing I'm talking about with trackers on it, you guys are going to be like, oh yeah.
I saw a thing on the Vive subreddit where they were like, what we really need in VR, and it's just a mouse and a keyboard with Vive trackers on it, so you can actually I want to go chat on Discord, guys. This is cool. I just met my buddy on Steam,
Exactly. I can't imagine things that I wouldn't want tracked if you're spending more time in VR. Like, we need a VR sippy cup, like a damn beverage container with a straw that you can see it sitting on your table, and you can just go, oh, okay, yay, instead of doing the thing where you crack up your headphones.
I'm waiting for the adult industry to jump a hold of that, and
I bet you are.
We'll get a bunch of new toys. No, because
I can't talk about what I've been working on, guys.
Always comes out with the most things.
Okay, hold on. Just to follow that up and sign off on a really weird note, when I talk to my friends about the sippy cup idea, where you have this object and you can drink a beverage out of it, and it's trackable, someone pointed out that sounds a lot like a fleshlight, and I was like, oh, that's what people would use it for.
Right?
Oh, crap.
Oh. Okay.
Dude, I want to get a Vive tracker. I want to put it on my dog, so I can see if he runs into my space.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Anyway, we got time for one more. Who's our last question? Anyone?
Not a chipmunk. Not a chipmunk. No chipmunk. No chipmunk. Whammy.
Okay. So
Okay,
anyway,
this is it.
everybody, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
for
you,
the first
guys.
episode of the Glitched podcast / VR show. If you guys want, there will be on the calendar encore performances of this exact show. So you guys can go, and in case you missed something or you glitched out or something, you had to restart it, go to that. If you want to just listen to the audio, you can come to my YouTube channel, Capon Design TV on YouTube.
Hey, Eugene,
It's awesome.
do we want to plug
If you
our
guys-
awesome event coming up in March?
Oh,
If we
yeah.
have any Seattle
Anybody
people?
in Seattle? Anybody in Seattle?
Anybody in Seattle?
Pick me.
Nice, nice.
And suddenly they all have
All right,
questions.
awesome. Few people in Seattle.
Me and Eugene are doing a talk at Emerald City Comic Con March 3rd, right? It's the
3rd,
Friday
March
that
3rd.
Comic Con is on. It's at 1 p.m. and we're going to be on the Twitch live stage doing a panel on creativity in VR. So if you want to come and pick our brains some more, I'll be talking about more of the design stuff. Eugene will be talking more about the evangelist type stuff, and then we also have a sound guy and a
Adrian
what's our
Ladelia.
biz?
Adrian Ladelia is this fantastic composer who does all the composing for my VR projects. Andrew Matesis does the programming over at InVRse, which is the company I co-founded. And then our moderator is the one and only Barnacles Nerdgasm from YouTube, if you know who that is.
Yo!
What? Yeah, also, if you guys are there and you want to meet us in person, there's the time to do it. Everybody, if you guys want to see what else Ryan is working on, Ryan, where can they find you?
We are at InVRse Studios. It's InVRse. And we've got InVRse.com. We haven't actually updated the website in a little bit, but we should definitely do that soon because we keep making new things and we need to put them out there for everyone to see. So that locomotion thing I mentioned, we're probably going to put it out on on InVRse.com. Drums of War, I think we're going to add a link to that because it's actually free at the Global Game Jam website. So we uploaded it for the Global Game Jam. So if you have a Vive or a Rift, then you can jam on our drums. And so, yeah, and then at InVRse Studios is us on Twitter.
Nice.
I'm sure we have Instagrams and other stuff. I just don't remember where they're.
If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at toe_fur, or you can find me online, Toe for Welsh on YouTube, or you'll probably just find me in Onward because I play that ridiculously every night. So
Apparently.
Awesome. Anyway, hey guys,
it is a weekly
hey guys,
podcast.
thank you so
monthly.
Guys,
Sorry.
It's a monthly. Yeah. So, guys, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you
we'll
so
be
much,
back in a
guys.
month. Go to the Encore. We'll see you later.
See you guys next time.